What is going on, everybody? It is Giant Snake here, back with another video, and today I'm going to be going over the NFL preview for the Buffalo Bills. Now remember, guys, I need you to sub to the channel, like the video. It's easier to get a lot more of these videos out if you like the videos and you sub to the channel. You know, show me the love. Comment. I like to see comments, what you think. If I'm being too hard on some teams, too lenient on some teams, I want to know. So definitely do that. So Buffalo Bills, here we go. So the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen was an almost MVP last year, if not for Rodgers having, one of the best years of his career. Josh Allen would have been the league MVP. And, the great steps they took to get this guy, pieces around him to be successful was, they paid off. They went all the way to the AFC Championship game. Even though they lost, and, we'll see how they can make up for those mistakes, they did a great job this past season. And they didn't lose many players. That's an important thing to remember, because Josh Allen's coming back. He's coming back healthy. Diggs is coming back. He's coming back healthy. They should have a really solid core staying together. They didn't really make a lot of offseason moves. They re-signed Matt Milano. I thought this was a home run, slam dunk sort of deal. They also re-signed wide receiver Isaiah McKenzie. They released John Brown as well. They re-signed offensive tackle Darrell Williams, which was a great signing, by the way. And they kind of made it work with their salary cap and their offensive line. And Stephon Diggs is a huge part of their success. Really, what he does for a young quarterback is give a young quarterback a guy he can trust, a target where he's open most of the time, and even if he's not, he may come down with it anyway. Stephon Diggs gives Allen that security blanket that a lot of teams are failing to give their young quarterbacks these days. If you look at what the Jets did with Sam Darnold is just as gifted as Josh Allen is, and maybe he's not as strong, but Sam has great abilities, and they never gave him that guy. He needed that guy. They always gave him sort of a guy. Crowder, Harriman. But the Bills went out, they traded their first-round pick, and got Stephon Diggs. And it completely paid off. Josh Allen had the best year of his career, and I expect them to be even better this upcoming year. The difference here now is, though, Buffalo is going to need to continue to call plays well on offense, as their offensive coordinator has left the building, and he got a new job, and he deserved a new job. And, it's really important that you understand that Buffalo now has to compete, in the division. So, we know Miami was good last year, and Buffalo beat up on Miami. Okay, we know that. But the Patriots look like they're back. It's too early to say if they are back, but they're probably back. Realistically, as much as we don't like the Cam Newton signing as, an NFL group, fans, it's important. And it's especially important because if they draft one of these young quarterbacks vis-a-vis a Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Mac Jones, they may not be ready in time. And getting Cam Newton will also get a guy who can mentor them. And now you may say, oh, Cam Newton's a bad attitude. Cam Newton is going to be a stand-up dude. He is. He's been through it all in his career, and he's seen his fair share of things, and I definitely feel Cam Newton would be a great sport about this sort of thing. So let's get into their schedule. Like I said, Buffalo's going to be one of the best teams in the NFL this year. I don't even think it's close either. So let's get started. Home against the Dolphins. I have them taking the home win. Last year, they absolutely, trampled the Dolphins in Buffalo. And the Patriots are going to be better, but I think it's still a win for the Bills. I think the Bills, they're going to keep playing well. The Jets aren't ready quite yet. You saw my last video. I don't think the Jets are ready yet, but they will be soon. I'm going to give Buffalo a third win at home. Or, playing up in Orchard Park, up in Buffalo, New Era Field, it is a tough environment. Bills Mafia, they are just, one of the best fan bases, if not the best in the NFL. They're starting to compete with Pittsburgh in their terrible towels, I think. I think Buffalo has an incredible fan base. They're beginning to travel really well, and when the team gets good, you better watch out. Atlanta, a win. I don't think Atlanta would be able to. I don't think Atlanta would be able to outscore the Bills 1 and 2. I think the Buffalo might be able to stop Atlanta. So yeah, Tre'Davious White's still there. They have their safeties. They have Poyer. They have Hyde. There's an all around good team, an all around good defense, and we already went over their pieces on offense. They also signed Matt Breida at running back. I might have forgot to say, I'm not sure, but that gives another aspect to the backfield. Singletary is that shifty guy, jump around. Zach Moss will run through you, and Matt Breida will run around you. So, they have this great dynamic in the backfield. Panthers going to be a win. I think Buffalo at almost at every single position has a better player than Carolina outside of running back. I mean, realistically, I think Buffalo matches up extremely well with them. Even though they could score points, Carolina, I think Buffalo would be able to, with their corners and their safeties, I think they could match up decently well with the likes of DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. So I really don't see Carolina putting up that much of a fight. Houston's a dumpster fire, like really bad, like worse than Philly. If Watson's there and Watson plays, they're going to be good because I think they did actually a decent job, signing kind of the middle ground, finding, players that sort of 1 year cheap deals, but players that have roles and they do well in their roles. I have them beating the Colts. This game is going to be really, really good. They played in the playoffs last year and it was a close game in the end, but Buffalo really had the advantage. But the Colts are going to be good. They're going to be good again. And I think the Colts may win a lot of games. This is going to be the deciding game whether Buffalo is the real deal or not next year, because I think if Buffalo beats the Colts, then we're sitting here and we're saying, okay, the Buffalo Bills have a legitimate chance to go to the Super Bowl, to go deep in the playoffs. I don't think the Steelers are going to be any good this year. They brought back Juju. That's great. You didn't need Juju. I think that was a waste of money. And it's not because I dislike Juju, but you are the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? You're like a wide receiver factory. You bred Juju, who was a 4th-round pick. You bred Antonio Brown, who was a 4th-round pick. You bred Chase Claypool, who was a 3rd-round pick. Deontay Johnson, I believe, was a 5th-round pick. This whole thing, you have Deontay Johnson, you have James Washington, you have Chase Claypool. You're good. You're good at, grooming these receivers. So I don't understand why they would re-sign him. I didn't like the re-signing. I thought it was poor, dumb idea. So I was not a fan of that. Moving on to Miami, they get their first loss of the season. Well, first loss, this is obviously not the order the game's going to be played, but I think they will lose to Miami in Miami. They are building something great down there. They have the 6th overall pick, and they still have 5 other first-round picks in the next 3 years outside of that pick. So, yeah, Miami should be good. Let's just put it that way. The Patriots, they're going to lose in New England, I think. I think the Patriots are going to be better this year. The problem, and I'll get to it in the Patriot video, but the problem is now that the 49ers traded up, and it looks like they want a quarterback. Unless the Patriots can somehow get Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't see them being able to grab one of the quarterbacks they want. And that's a problem. That's a problem. So, otherwise, if they had the 49ers stayed back and they made it clear that they weren't going after a quarterback, I'd say, hey, Trey Lance or Justin Fields, if they get to the Patriots are going to be a good team. They're going to groom that quarterback, and they're going to be good again because they did a lot in free agency. Next, they're going to sweep the Jets. The Jets are going to get better quick, but I just don't think the Jets are ready. I definitely don't think the Jets are ready yet. Jacksonville, don't even get me started. Jacksonville's terrible. They'll stay terrible. They'll always be terrible. Even though Trevor Lawrence is there, it doesn't really matter. I'm giving them a win against the Saints. I said I was pretty high on the Saints, even though their quarterback situation is unsettled at first. But Buffalo is not one of these, maybe even NFC East teams. They are the AFC East giant. They have been to the playoffs now back-to-back years, and they're a good team. Buffalo is a good team, man. They do a lot of things well. They're coached extremely well by Coach McDermott, and I think they could beat on this team. I'm giving them a loss against Tampa Bay. This game could go either way. I think this game could go either way. And there's another game that could go either way. But, Buffalo matches up really well against Tampa Bay's offense. They do. But Buffalo still has a lack of an edge rusher, and I think that's where Tampa Bay will be able to pick them apart a little bit. But yeah, Buffalo's missing that dominant edge rusher. If they could somehow in this NFL draft get one of these guys, Phillips, Rousseau, Kwity Paye, any of those guys, Ojulari, they can instead, or they do that and they sign Clowney. They all of a sudden have edge threats, even though Clowney is not as good of a player as we all thought he was. I am a little bit skeptical of the Titans this year. I don't know if you guys saw my last video. I kind of shared concerns I had about the Tennessee Titans. They lost a lot of guys. They overpaid Bud Dupree, who's a situation. He's an opportune rusher, if that makes sense. So what that means to me is, looking back at the film, a lot of Bud Dupree's statistical, advances, which were sacks, pretty much QB hits, came on broken plays, coverage sacks. He had some speed rushes, but quarterbacks are running into these, throwing the ball away. Dupree's a great hybrid linebacker, but he's not an elite pass rusher, put it that way. And for the last one, the Chiefs, I'll give them a loss against the Chiefs because you saw in the playoffs that the Chiefs match up really well against them. And they're gonna struggle a little bit with the Chiefs. They always do. The Chiefs are one of the best teams in the NFL, and they will continue to be with them repeatedly keeping the same guys. They all want to play there. They all want to be there, and they're doing such a great job of keeping that group together. I'm very impressed with Kansas City. And, the last game that would be their Week 17 now, because the NFL this week has announced that they will be having a Week 17. They will be playing versus the Washington football team, and I think that's another win. So I have the Bills going 13-4. 13-4. 12-4 originally, now 13-4. I have high expectations for Buffalo. I think this is the year where Josh Allen wins MVP. I actually do. I think this is the Allen MVP year. It's his award to lose, I think. It's sort of like, he came on really late in the year last year, and honestly, I think he's only going to get better. And if he's only going to get better, it's you know what I mean? So Josh Allen MVP is actually my prediction. I think the Buffalo will win the division. Patriots are going to be good, but Buffalo will win the division. And I think they have a chance, real good chance to take home the Lombardi Trophy this year. So again, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like the vid, sub to the channel. It's free. Buffalo fans, you may be heading all the way to the Super Bowl this year. It's possible with everything going on. I think it's in LA, so you may be heading to LA this year. Buffalo's got a great squad they put together. They put a great squad together every year. And, so that is it. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good one.